What's up, fight fans, and thanks in advance for joining us. The following interview takes place with professional fighter Eugene the Suitcase Kid Aubry, or as some of you may know as the Dark Horse of Philly. He's best known for just keeping it real, not sugarcoating anything, his work ethic, and just grittiness, non-stop fighting you tooth and nail. In an act of senseless violence on October 22nd, Eugene, after a hard day of working in the gym, was on his way home for his favorite meal at his favorite restaurant when out of the shadows, somebody held him at gunpoint. Instinctually, Eugene turned around and punched the assailant in the face, staggering the assailant, dropping him to the ground, but ultimately the assailant getting back up and shooting Eugene. Now, Eugene's left in the hospital and could use all the help that he can possibly get as he's fighting for his mobility again. Thank you for tuning in. Please consider donating to the GoFundMe of Eugene the Suitcase Kid Aubrey. And I am being joined right now by the Dark Horse of Philly, the Suitcase Kid, Eugene Aubry. He is being kind enough to join me right now in the hospital. He is on the road to recovery, and he is here with me now. I appreciate you being with me, Eugene. First and foremost, thank you.
No problem. I want to get it out there.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you talking to me, and hopefully this gives a broader scheme for other people to bear witness to your story and get to know a little bit of what happened, get to donate to the GoFundMe, which we'll definitely plug quite a bit in this interview. We'll be posting it up and above me, you, everything. So before we get into it, Eugene, again, like I said, thank you for taking the time. How are you?
I'm feeling good because I beat the ventilator in a month. 4 days later, I'm in rehab. And now I'm actually happy because I'm out of ICU and I'm with some good people that can do everything they can to help me get better.
And recapping, again, like I said, there was the senseless act of violence on October 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, and you were on your way home from the gym and you were robbed at gunpoint, correct?
Yes.
So can you, from your perspective, explain what happened?
I was walking home, basically. Had a long day at the gym. I live in West Philly. I have my own apartment. I got off the L at 52nd Street. I wanted to go to my favorite restaurant to get my favorite platter. And basically, it was closed. So it was on 52nd and Spruce. I turned to go down Spruce Street. Out of the shadows from behind me, I heard, "All right, run that shit," which is basically slang for "I'm robbing you." I didn't know he had a gun. All I felt was his hand grab me from behind. So I spun out of reactionary. I really didn't think it all happened, transpired so fast. So I spun, hit him with a right hand. I did stumbling pretty good. I didn't see his gun. It was very dark. It came up and hit me in the neck. And what was crazy about it was my legs were the first thing to give out. I tried to move. I was like crawled a couple feet, and then I was weak. But he ran away immediately. He didn't take nothing from me. He didn't touch me. He just shot me, and he ran. I stayed awake through the whole thing. As I was bleeding out, blood started like squirting out my throat and stuff. Somebody came out of their apartment looking around, just trying to figure out what happened. So I started screaming for them, and they found me. And I thought I was going to die, to be honest. So I ended up telling them. And they told me, like, don't say that, stay awake, you know. And they called the police. The police were there. Luckily, the police station is about a couple blocks away. So the police were there within 3 minutes. They scooped me up off the pavement. I was in real pain. I remember they asked me, like, about my legs. I told them I can't move them. They sprayed me up off the pavement, put me in the car. They kept asking me if I was all right. And I was in stress. So I'm just like, hurry the fuck up. Like, just get me to the hospital. I get to the hospital, and then that's when they finally put me out in a coma. And then basically from there, I woke up and I was recovered. I don't remember much about the first week. I do remember the initial. It wasn't even 48 hours. I would say when people actually could visit me, but I was highly sedated, so I felt bad because I only remember like 10 seconds of seeing a lot of people. You know, a lot of people say I was saying a lot of stuff and doing a lot of stuff. It was hard for me to remember.
Well, understandable that, I mean, I understand you feel bad because you can't, remember everything. You feel bad, but obviously it's definitely under understandable circumstances, the things that have to be done in order to just keep things running smoothly as far as sedation. But I do have a question. Were you able to identify the shooter?
No, not at all. He was masked up, all black, and it was real dark. They don't have, I think they have like a street camera, but not much. And it's a shame because the Philadelphia PD even went as far as to accuse me of being a drug addict.
Really?
Yeah, they asked why I was there. They said, what is he doing there? It's a highly drug trafficked area. And I said, my dad, I didn't say anything. My father got really upset, had to get taken out of the room. Because I don't do hard drugs like we talk about. I live a block away from where I live.
Yeah.
It's a shame. But
so they immediately wanted to just label it, to chalk it up to drugs and go from there. And when you told them that you were coming back from the gym, obviously pursuing your full-time career, what was said after?
Honestly, I didn't get to give too detailed of an account other than what my side of what happened. The police officer who actually picked me up just got my account, and that's it. All this stuff that I'm telling you now, I wasn't in the room for. This was at the police station with my parents.
Oh. So when you initially realized you had been shot, and I've heard from other people, not naming names, that you would talk to, that when you knew you were shot, you would question, why did they not finish the job? That has to be a horrible realization and maybe even reality to come across your head.
Yeah, because they took away, they did rob me. They didn't take any possessions, but they took my livelihood. The reality is, the extent of my injury is the bullet went through the front of my neck and out the back, all the way through, and severed my spine. So there's a chance that I'm never going to walk again. And if that's the case, I don't get to fight. I put so much time in that I just don't know how I'm going to feel whole if I can't do what I like to do.
But with the work effort or work ethic that you have, and everything, like I've told you off camera too, everybody that I've talked to about this situation has conceivably, the consistent story is your work ethic. And you've made that known that it's your work ethic that's going to get you through that. What is it about the dark horse of Philly, that the Suitcase Kid, that mentality that has pushed you through not only life, but you're determined is going to push you through this setback?
Well, honestly, I feel like this is like the biggest setback, but I've been through many setbacks. Whether it was homelessness or really dangerous living situations, living in the dope house, just because I had nowhere to go. Starting my amateur career, losing 4 fights straight, after my first initial win. It's a lot of things, you know what I mean? But a dark horse is different. A dark horse is an underdog, but the difference between an underdog and a dark horse is an underdog can lose. A dark horse wins. That's the difference.
I like that.
So I've been told that if there's a chance that I can walk, it's all about the work that I'm willing to put in. And also, if the spinal rehab doesn't have my back. Obviously, the GoFundMe is going to go towards stem cells and with other experimental procedures I need. The reality is I may never fight again or walk again or feel below my chest again. That's the reality. But I'm going to go down swinging. That's not true.
Have you potentially even thought about just post-life afterwards? Because you're a wealth of knowledge in not only the fight game, but just as far as inspiration goes. You've tackled time and time again, hurdle after hurdle. Have you conceptually thought about using this as a step into coaching? Because some fighters, some kids might need this story to brace themselves for the hard knocks of life and the real looks of the future.
I mean, it would definitely be an option. It's something that people have said to me, but I'm not ready to quit.
No, I wasn't suggesting that.
No, I know you're not. Just, my mind, I'm not ready to think like that yet, you know?
So when the doctor gave his analysis, the extent of the result, what was your initial thoughts? What initially ran through your head?
Well, I got two results. First was the ICU. The ICU, obviously, their job is to be like super realistic. So they just shut down any possibility ever. But they did tell me that I damn near broke records with how fast I got off the ventilator. They said people take 6 months. People don't get off in a month. That just doesn't happen.
Right.
But my second analysis was today, and he told me that basically every spine injury is different, and it's very unknown what you're willing to do.
And what you're willing to do is the sky. There's nothing you're not willing to do.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow at PT, when I start, I don't care if I die. You know,
so you're going into this just like you would any other fight, like you just said. Even if it kills me, I'm gonna go out swinging. But
yeah.
I talked to you about this before we even started recording, and I just how you're smiling. It wasn't even just a little over a month ago, and not only are you defying the odds by getting off the ventilator, you were speaking a couple of days later, and you have the smile, like we were talking before, and you're just grinning from ear to ear. Like, how? In such a crummy year for so many people, and everybody that seems so down about everything, and the one person that seems like they have a legitimate reason to be down, you're smiling in the hospital right now. So it's, again, truly inspirational. But also, that being said, what can people take from your story?
Don't quit. And at the end of the day, you got to face your reality, regardless of what it is. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just got my voice back, and I've only been able to talk since probably around Monday or so. You know, but I'm not gonna lie, I cried at first. It's up and down. Like when I first got my voice, it was like tears of joy. I remember shaking and like, that's crazy, you know, because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to talk again. But I could keep crying, or I could just shut the fuck up and work, and that's what I'm gonna choose to do. I laugh about it, I tell jokes, and I'm ready to go ahead and get these legs back. That's how I feel.
I love it, man. So I want to touch on some of the positive things that you've been able to do at the moment. I mean, you're, again, crushing goals with everything you're doing, but what have you been doing while in the hospital? I've been seeing your updates. I've been seeing your stories. You're working it out with your bands at the bedside, but I've also seen that you've rekindled some relationships. I've seen that you said you had a really touching memento about your father and saying stuff like, even though you weren't talking to him a whole lot, but has this done anything for your family atmosphere and even for old friends getting back together? It's always hard to do it that way, but has it been something?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is this. Life is short, and I'm done. Like, I have a real obsessive personality. in a way, which also leads me to hold grudges. But it's also what makes me great because it motivates me to prove people wrong and stuff like that. But the reality of this situation made me want to drop a lot of that. When it comes to like relationships and understanding that certain things with people that transpire aren't that serious, and it's not. It's sometimes it's life, and it's both of you, and it's not all one person's fault. So I just want to be more forgiving and just get over it. My family situation with my dad, like my dad was in my life when I was young, and then he gave me back to my mom, and my mom was very mentally ill. So she was abusive and unstable and moved around a lot, and it messed me up a lot. And then there was times where she successfully pushed me away to where I didn't see him for like 3 years of my early childhood and stuff like that. So there was a lot of resentment and things I was dealing with on top of going through normal teenager hormonal changes when I moved in with him. Because eventually I escaped. I lived in Philly with my mother till 12. Then I moved. My dad's originally from Roxborough, but he bought a house in Jersey, and then I moved with him. So when I moved in with him, there was a lot of issues that he wasn't ready for, and we both didn't know how to deal with these things. And so we butt heads, and as I got older, he would throw me out, and we would, then I'd say fuck him, and then talk to him for a few years. You know what I'm saying? Because he watched me be homeless, and there was things I got mad about, So, but it was good, like, because at the end of the day, he got me into sport, and he did have a great impact in my life. It's just a lot of those early childhood trauma just kind of clouded some of the good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we would go back and forth. We were like best friends, and now it's over. You know what I'm saying? I think on his end, he feels the same way. It's stupid why we weren't talking to each other. It was dumb.
Yeah, that's one of the unfortunate but yet beautiful things that happens in, tragedy. But a couple of things I wanted to ask before I do let you go. Some things that you've been doing, obviously, while in the middle of recovery and obviously the visitors and conversations. What has been your go-tos? Have you found anything binge watching, or have you just watched the old fights, logging into UFC Fight Pass, ESPN Plus? What have you been doing outside of just steady recovering?
Basically, I do watch some of my old fights. I watched when Paul Felder fought RDA. I watched that. I've been keeping up with the game, promoting my story, basically, and trying to work out a little bit, do some bands and stuff. And then talking to my visitors due to COVID that got cut off. So I started FaceTiming a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm a big gamer junkie a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably get some Xbox in.
So a couple more things I wanted to ask you. You said that you were on your way home when everything happened, and you were on your way to your favorite restaurant. On record, what is that restaurant? Because we want to see if we can get them to get you some food for the Suitcase Kid.
It's Anna's African and American restaurant. They got these lamb platters, and it's like $14, but it's like if you could damn near feed a family. So it's like my go-to slow food when I don't gotta worry about it. Even though I initially was bumping up 70 so I could be lazy on my diet.
So with the therapy going on, you said you've been doing experimental therapy. What experimental therapy have you been going through?
No. I haven't done none yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's the plan. Once, like, let's say like they got it. So we'll find out now at
Mm-hmm.
this spinal rehab. This is my first day here. They're
Mm-hmm.
just letting me rest,
Right.
until tomorrow morning, 8
Mm-hmm.
a.m. sharp, right? But my plan is, let's say they can't get me to walk, but they get me functional enough to live in a wheelchair, then I'm gonna go look at other options, stem cells, and then some other things in mind.
Right.
Basically, that's what I meant by that.
Yeah. Okay. Which leads me, again, I'm going to continue to close it down here. The GoFundMe, which you obviously know about, you mentioned earlier, we're going to continue to plug it. Before we got on live here, I looked at it and it was about $20,000 right now.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to that, man? People have the Suitcase Kids back.
Well, it's crazy to me because I always was so mad at the world. And again, it's my gift and my curse because I work very hard because I always have a chip on my shoulder and I always have that dark horse mentality that everybody's against me. So to see this and sit back and reflect, it's just insane how much love everybody has for me and how much everybody wants to see me make a comeback. Because if I do get this function back, best believe I will be fighting again. Best believe I'm going to bust my ass, get in shape, and I'm whooping somebody's ass.
So in Eugene, the Dark Horse affiliate, Aubrey, in your mindset, just a simple answer. Will we see you walking and fight again in the cage from your perspective?
The reality is, I'm unsure. I have to put in the work and see what happens, and that's basically the where I stand in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how it goes with spinal injuries. But I am going to go down swinging. The money in my GoFundMe is going to be used for everything I need to get back. And if it works, it works. If it don't, then we'll go from there. But I'm not going to have that mentality. In my mind, I'm going to walk and I'm going to fight again. And that's in my mind.
All right, man. I think that's going to do it for us. How can fans keep up with the story just to see how things are progressing? Obviously, the GoFundMe, we're going to plug the life out of it. But how can fans keep up with the story between what you're doing, the hurdles you're conquering day to day? How can they get in touch?
They can just follow me on Instagram at _Suitcase Kid. And if they got Facebook, they can try to friend me on there too. I'm Eugene Aubry, and you just go search me up.
There he is, the Suitcase Kid, the Dark Horse of Philly, Eugene Aubry. Eugene, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to tell your story. I hope it transcends and other people catch wind of it, and you can overcome this horrible, senseless tragedy. Again, I can't thank you enough. I wish it was on better terms to discuss, fight news, but again, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it.
No, got to get it out there. I can't hide from who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You have to face your reality, and that's it. I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna be withdrawn. That's not gonna beat this. What's gonna beat this is facing it head on, and that's it.